Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. I just keep, when I remember the Damodar pastime, Krishna's pastime, Damodar. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. We just finished up with the month of Damodar, celebrating the pastime of Lord Krishna as a child. His breaking the butter pot, Mother Yasoda tying him up. And that pastime is so deep. It is so deep and so profound for relishing the personality of Godhead. So beautiful pastime. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. And today I was reading with some devotees, and they were reading from the Gopala-Campu, which is Jiva Goswami's book. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And he further elaborated on the pastimes of Damodar and the deliverance of Nalakuvara Griva. And what I heard today just, I just started crying right in the middle of the group. I mean, I couldn't, the pastime was so powerful, emotionally powerful. And what goes on in the loving affairs of the Lord with his devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I mean, I was looking at the development of that pastime. Krishna, Mother Yasoda was busy. She was churning butter. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna was hungry. He wanted not only milk from her breast, but also affection and attention. He wanted personal, intimate time with his mother, feel that love coming from the mother. And he insisted that she stop churning butter and spend time with him in that intimate way, feeding him from her breast and holding him, and that he could he could feel that love coming from her. And of course, immediately Mother Yasoda loves Krishna more than anything. And so she took time out from the churning of the butter, took him on her lap, and was feeding him with her breast and holding him and reassuring him how much she loved him. And Krishna was enjoying that very much. But there was some milk on the stove. Now that milk was cow's milk. And Mother Yasoda felt like she needed to take care of that milk on the stove. And so she put Krishna down. And Krishna didn't like that. Now there's two kinds of milks going on here. One is milk coming from his mother, very intimate relationship with his mother and intimacy. And the other kind of milk is coming from another mother. It's coming from the cow, which is also a mother. But that milk is more related to management of society and varnashram dharma. It's not as intimate a relationship with mother like that as was Mother Yasoda. So Krishna didn't like that. He didn't want to be put aside in that intimate mood for her to go and attend to the cow's milk on the stove and the varnashram all tied into that. He didn't like that. And while she was taking care of the cow's milk on the stove, he broke the butter pot, and he was taking the butter, and he ran away. He broke the pot, took some of the butter, and ran away. Mother took care of the stove, and then went back and saw what Krishna had done. So as a mother, this is her child. Part of a mother's duty is to train the child nicely, to behave nicely, to correct them when they're wrong, when they do something not acceptable. And so as a mother's duty, she felt she had to teach him, she had to chastise him that this was not the correct behavior. For Krishna, it was the correct behavior. For Mother Yasoda, she was thinking in terms of like the social acceptance, how her son wouldn't be accepted socially if he didn't know how to behave, so on and so forth. Anyway, she ran after him with a stick. Now here again, we see the dynamic of, in this pastime, the dynamic of intimacy versus formality. It's very, very, at every turn it's there. And at every turn, Krishna is making a statement. No, it's the intimacy is the highest principle, not the formality. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. That's his earmark. The intimacy, not the formality. Now both are created by him. He creates the formality also. Then he trumps it. Hare Krishna. This is Krishna. She catches Krishna, baby Krishna, child Krishna, and she has the stick in her hand. And she sees the look in his face. It's a look of fear. And she has a realization that this is not the kind of response she wants to elicit from her son, fear. She wants love. But if he's too fearful, it will interfere with the loving relationship. She doesn't want to introduce fear into her loving relationship with her son. So she puts the stick aside. Now the stick is like, punishment and reward, rules and regulations, like this, the stick. And she puts that aside. But she still is thinking that she needs to chastise him. She needs to teach him proper behavior, that he did something wrong. Breaking the butter pot like that was the wrong thing to do. Hare Krishna, in her estimation. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. So she gathers some rope. Now the rope that she gathered was the rope that the boys used for binding the cows and the calves. in their herding activities, sometimes they use ropes. So here we are back again with the Varnashram implication, because it's connected to the cows. The stick was the rules and regulations. She put that aside for the ropes, which are used in, is connected to like the Varnashram, taking care of the cows. But what she finds is that she is going to bind him to this wooden grinding mortar that they use for grinding grains. It's very heavy mortar. He's just a very small child. So to bind him to that mortar would keep him from getting into mischief, and to show him that he did something wrong. So, but she goes to bind him, and the rope is always 2 fingers too short. That's how it's not 2 inches. It's 2 fingers. That's the way it's described. 2 fingers. And she gathers more rope, and then she tries to, and it's still 2 fingers too short. It's always 2 fingers too short, no matter how much rope she gets. So she can't restrain him in that way. Not just that it's a material rope, but it's the rope that's connected to the Varnashram system. It's the rope that's used for the cows, which is connected to the Vaishya, Kshatriya, Brahmin scenario. And Krishna is beyond that. He's not bound by that. There's always 2 fingers too short. And it's described that the other women were watching this in great amazement. Everyone was in amazement at Mother Yasoda working so hard to try to restrain her son, and it's not possible. They're watching in great amazement. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So at some point, Krishna, seeing his mother's determination, he shows her mercy. And then the rope can hold him. And those is described in Vishwanath's commentary, I believe, that the 2 fingers are the determination of the devotee and the mercy of the Lord. So once the determination of the devotee was established, and then the mercy of the Lord kicked in, then she was able to bind him. Determination of the devotee to serve Krishna, and the mercy of the Lord allowing himself to be bound by that, his mercy. And that, as if that wasn't enough, that wonderful pastime of Damodar, it continues. Because once Krishna is bound to that mortar, he thinks to himself, all right, she's bound me to this mortar, but now I'm going to do something even more mischievous than before. She thought breaking the butter pot was bad. Wait till she sees this. So the child, resisting the parents' control. But it's in love, because this is a loving relationship, mother and her small son. Not his son. And he manages, Krishna, easily of course, to pull that heavy wooden mortar that he's tied to between the 2 giant trees in the backyard, the Arjuna trees, Yamala Arjuna trees, something like Tamala Arjuna trees, some kind of very, very large tree. The story behind that is that the demigods of Kuvera were acting sinfully and inappropriately. And when Narada Muni passed by, they didn't stop their behavior to even acknowledge that a saintly devotee of the Lord was there. They just kept indulging in some kind of sex with naked girls and drinking and all kinds of things. And they didn't stop. They didn't even acknowledge that he was present. So Narada took mercy on them that this is not good, because they were sons of demigods. They need some rectification. And he cursed them to take birth as trees. But those trees would be in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, and those demigods would be delivered when Krishna appeared there and pulled the trees down, and they would be liberated. So they were in that courtyard. They had the benediction that they would have full consciousness of their misbehaviors stand there for trees for hundreds of years, actually. Very, very long time they stood there as trees. And they got to witness the pastimes of Lord Krishna, standing there as trees, and they became great devotees. And then Krishna pulled the mortar in such a way that it pulled the trees over. It startled everyone. It said that you could hear the sound all over Vrindavan. It made a huge sound, a crashing sound. It could be felt all over Vrindavan. The two demigods were released from the tree body. They offered their prayers to Krishna. And their prayer was a beautiful prayer. They prayed to be always see Krishna everywhere. Never forget Krishna. Always see Krishna everywhere and to be engaged in his devotional service. So having had that transformation by receiving the direct mercy of Krishna in Vrindavan, they returned to the spiritual planets, the heavenly planets, but they were transformed. They were devotees of the Lord, great devotees. And it's described in the Gopala-Campu. Later on they became, when they returned to Vrindavan in their spiritual bodies, they appeared as two boys who were always reciting the glorious pastimes of the Lord. They were singers, singing the pastimes of the Lord. And so that's also part of the Damodar pastime, the liberation of Nalakaviramani Griva. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. That's not the end. It goes on more. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jiva Goswami describes how Krishna wasn't done with Mother Yasoda yet. See, he was naughty, he broke the butter pot, and then he did something even naughtier, he pulled the trees down, which no one could really believe that he'd done it, but he did it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then he still wasn't done with Mother Yasoda. He complained to Nanda Maharaj. She tied me up like that, and it was so dangerous. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And he wouldn't talk to her. He wouldn't go. She'd call him. He wouldn't come. He was mad. He was still mad. The original thing that made him angry was her putting him aside to attend to the milk on the stove. That still hadn't been resolved. He was still pouting over that. He was still angry that she put me aside like that. She interrupted her loving interaction with me to go do that other thing. He was still angry about that. And in that mood, he broke the butter pot, and then he pulled the trees over, and now he was complaining to Nanda Maharaj. He was still unhappy. It hadn't been resolved yet. He wasn't satisfied in his relationship with Mother Yasoda. He wanted her to really get it. That there was nothing more important than her intimate, loving relationship with Krishna. There was nothing more important. He wanted her to really, really experience that. And so he was complaining to Nanda Maharaj. He wouldn't go to his mother. She'd call him. He wouldn't go. He wouldn't talk to her. Nothing. He was still pouting. And Mother Yasoda was so overwhelmed at this treatment from Krishna, her lovely child, that she stayed in her room for 3 days. She wouldn't even come out. She was horrified. And everyone was worried about her. All the other village women, they were all worried about her. And she was so morose. And she was heartbroken. And she felt badly. She must have done something horrible and wrong. Her child wouldn't talk to her. she did. Hare Krishna. So Nanda Maharaj, he knew what was going on. He came up with something that he took Krishna aside. He called Yasoda out, and he reassured Krishna that he would punish her he would punish his mother for her behavior toward him. And he told Krishna, and he raised his hand, that he was going to hit her. He was going to strike her for her. And Krishna immediately stopped. No. He went running to his mother. Mother Yasoda, she just imagine her relief to have her child back in her arms. And he's like, this is what Krishna does, This is the personality of Godhead. This is how he enjoys his loving pastimes. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. That's such a really powerful pastime to see it more and more in depth like that. What Krishna is showing there. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. This young man was asking this question about right and wrong. He was asking about Srila Gauraharidas. He said, Srila Gauraharidas, can he be wrong? Yes or no? Just one word. Tell me, yes or no. He was asking the question. Can he be wrong? And so I said, no. He can't be wrong. Because worshiping on the devotional platform, there isn't any right or wrong. There's only loving exchange. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And that's another aspect to the Damodar pastime. Mother Yasoda was considering that Krishna had done something wrong and needed to be chastised. Krishna was showing, no, there's no right or wrong. There's only loving exchange. That's the highest principle. And that's Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? Arjuna, what's the right thing to do? What's the wrong thing to do? If I fight, that's wrong. And if this right and wrong, do I right or wrong? What's the right thing? And Krishna believes it. Devotional service to me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Just surrender to me. Don't worry about right or wrong. Just surrender to me. It's a higher principle, surrender to Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, great. Surrender to Krishna. So what does that mean? How do I do that? Well, Krishna makes the arrangement. By the mercy of Krishna, one gets a spiritual master, and by the mercy of the spiritual master, you get Krishna. That's like the main dynamics of it. But then there's little corollaries too. All along the way, Krishna is sending people with an opportunity for us to surrender to him in our dealings with others. But the root of it is the relationship with the spiritual master. Krishna sends the spiritual master who then delivers us to Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. That's how you surrender to Krishna. Who Krishna's representative. His main representative is the bona fide spiritual master who's engaged in his eternal relationship with Krishna, is empowered by Krishna to act as a spiritual master for others. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then from that, we learn how to behave with others. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Recognize Krishna there in other people, even though they may not even recognize Krishna in themselves. I was thinking of the spiritual masters like a tuning fork. You know? By hearing from them and rendering service, you get like fine-tuned, so that you can pick up that vibration wherever you go. Hare Krishna, you get tuned up. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh boy, just some thoughts. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Very well, Prabhus. I can see people are like commenting, but don't have my glasses. It's really small print, so I'll catch you later. Very well.